your surplus unit and deficit unit. Direct funding, as I told you, there is a problem of mismatch because a deficit unit require a certain amount of money, and might happen the surplus unit can't have that much of money. So that's why intermediaries comes into the picture. So financial intermediaries helps in mobilization of fund from surplus unit to deficit unit. So they help in mobilization of fund from surplus unit to deficit unit. That's why when we mobilize the fund via intermediaries, we invest the money, we park our money, we pool our money with the financial intermediaries. So it is known as indirect funding, because ultimately financial intermediaries will subsequently lend that money to those who require that money in, in various forms. So you have already done it, and of course surplus unit, you might call it lenders or seller of the fund, and the deficit unit is buyer or the borrowers of the fund. Then we were discussing about the what are the different categories of financial intermediaries available in India. Now we have 5 broad categories of financial intermediaries in India. One, there is a huge structure of banking system. So we have a large chunk of banking system as a financial intermediaries. Banks are financial intermediaries. The reason being they simply mobilize the fund from savers, account holder to the borrowers, those who need money. In the form of financial assistance, they mobilize the fund from depositors to the borrowers. They provide financial assistance. In fact, they don't have any kind of, they do not anything, they don't have their any kind of business. They are simply in the mobilization of fund from account holder to borrowers, yeah, to provide the financial assistance. The second category of financial intermediary is financial institutions. As I told you, financial institution means they don't have banking activity, means they mobilize the fund from investors, yeah, those who have surplus money, and then they lend that money to the projects and plans, means they provide the financial assistance. Investment institutions, third category, as I told you, is launches various categories of schemes, and through that scheme, a surplus unit, that is individual, organization or government, invest that money into the investment institution, and they manage that fund, means they create portfolio, they invest that money into the market as per the objective of that scheme or plan, depending upon which category of investment institutions you are choosing for parking, for investing your money. And the fourth category is obviously there is non-banking finance companies, and non-banking finance companies, as the name itself suggests, that they are not in banking activities. So the examples of non-banking financial finance companies are leasing companies, hire purchase, check fund. In fact, they provide asset-based funding. Means rather than providing you the money, they provide you the asset directly based on the lease or hire purchase. And of course, they can also invite the fund from public in the form of public deposit, provided they have a proper license from RBI. And the last one is the post office savings. Obviously, the post office, these savings have a huge corpus, and there is a board which manages these funds, and they create the portfolio, they invest that money into the market. To run this financial market smoothly, to enable the smooth functioning of financial market, there are other intermediaries in the market who ensure the smooth functioning of the financial market. And those other intermediaries, we can call it associate financial intermediaries, because they are the facilitators. For example, financial regulators. Financial regulators frame rules and regulations for the particular segment of the financial market for which they are supposed to be a regulator. For example, for banking system, the regulator is RBI. For insurance sector, the regulator is IRDA for capital market, yeah, stock market, the regulator is SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. So there are various categories of regulator for various segments in the financial market, and they simply formulate, frame rules and regulations regarding the functioning of that particular market in case any grievances, conflict, or issues arises among the players, yeah, or with the intermediaries. They come into the picture and resolve the issues through, because they have a judicial power also. Second category of associate financial intermediaries are credit rating agencies. That is, they provide rating to financial products available in the financial market, financial services availed in the financial market, or institution itself, organization itself providing the financial services. So with the rating, they provide whether there is a safety, security or not, what kind of risk is involved in that particular product. Obviously, this facilitates the players of the market to judge to whom they should develop a relationship, to whom they should create transactions. And the third and the major associate different category of intermediaries are means who provide the services are the merchant banker. The word merchant banker means blend of financial services. Blend of financial services means those organizations who provide financial services. Obviously, they provide services that they charge fees and commission also. So, and these merchant bankers provide different kind of services, like when a company wants to bring IPO, means they want to raise the equity through the issue of share, then they hire the merchant bankers to manage that show, that event. That event is initial public offering, because that involve a lot of activities, starting from making advertisement in the newspaper, inviting application, screening the application, and then starting the allotment process, then ensuring the refund of the amount in case there is surplus money. All these activities are undertaken by the experts of the market, and those experts are known as the merchant bankers. So there are certain organizations who have expertise in managing the IPO, and therefore the companies who want to raise the equity through the issue of shares, that is through the IPO, they hire the services of the merchant bankers. Merchant bankers provide their services in various forms and various roles, and the roles of merchant bankers are as a lead managers. They come into the picture. The name as suggests, lead managers means they are the coordinator, chief coordinator for the entire show. Means they coordinate all the organizations involved in the IPO, including the company who are intended to raise the equity through the issue of share, that is through the issue of IPO. And the second, the merchant bankers might also come into the picture via being a registrar. Registrar, as the name suggests, is supposed to do all the documentation, all the registry work, that is the maintaining of records and all that. And custodians are meant to provide the safekeeping services. They are simply the lockers. They provide they keep all the documents in safe. So merchant bankers have different roles. So they provide services based on fees and commission. So with the help of these associate financial intermediaries, our financial system, our organizational setup of financial market functions smoothly, work smoothly. And now next, I'm going to expand all these financial intermediaries first. Then we will discuss what are the types or categories of the financial market. So hope you might have understood all the structure of the financial market, that is the Indian financial system. Indian financial system is nothing but the organizational setup of our financial market. Now we are going to expand all the financial intermediaries one by one, so that you can understand the structure of the internal structure of the financial market. So let us start with the banks. Banks. So as I told you, banks is the largest financial intermediaries in India because they provide lots of financial services, financial assistance to those who need money. And of course, the regulator of bank is your RBI. So RBI is the regulator of banking system, a regulator of banking system. One thing is very much important to know. RBI cannot interfere in the affairs of banks, internal affairs of the bank, because they are simply the regulator. The word regulator means on and off. Matlab they regulate, they formulate rules and regulation, and and being regulated, they provide guidelines, they provide rules and regulation regarding the banking business only. As I already told you, they have nothing to do with the organizational setup of the banks. As I told you, there's, for example, State Bank of India. State Bank of India is established through passing act in Parliament, that is known as SBI Act. So as far as organizational setup or legal setup of State Bank of India is concerned, this is established through passing act in Parliament, that is known as SBI Act. And SBI is function, the operational activity of SBI is undertaken through the provisions of SBI Act. Whatever is the provisions of SBI Act, SBI will function according to those provisions. No other act is going to regulate. Whereas suppose there is a ICICI Bank, so ICICI Bank Limited, so the legal setup of this is established in Companies Act as a public limited company. Public limited company under Companies Act. Under Companies Act, and so their legal setup is company. So they are like companies, and being companies, they are governed through the provisions of Companies Act. So remember it, both are bank. State Bank of India is also bank. ICICI Bank Limited Bank is also bank. This is a public sector bank. You may call it. It's a public sector bank, and this is a private sector bank. Private sector bank. Private sector bank. But their legal setups are completely different. The organizational setup or legal setup of SBI is different because it is established through passing act in Parliament known as SBI Act, and they are governed through the provisions of SBI Act. Whereas ICICI Bank Limited, the organizational setup of ICICI Bank Limited or legal setup of ICICI Bank Limited is through Companies Act. They are established as a company under the Companies Act as a public limited company, and therefore their operations are governed through the provisions of Companies Act. But since both are in the business, so their business is regulated through Banking Regulation Act. So banking business is regulated through Banking Regulation Act. It simply means in India, whatsoever is your legal structure, either you are a foreign company or a public sector or private sector, whatsoever is your legal setup, you could be a partnership firm, you could be a company, you could be another legal setup or organizational setup. But remember, if you are doing banking business, then you are completely regulated through Banking Regulation Act. Means your business will function under the purview of Banking Regulation Act. I think it is clear now. So for every organization, there are two things attached with that organization. One is the legal setup. Second is its business. So business is governed through, might be governed through another act. For example, those organizations who are doing banking business, for example, Jal Lakshmi Bank, Bandhan Bank, okay? Yeah, there are lots of banks. You might go through the RBI site and see there are different categories of banks available in India. So their legal setup could be different, their organizational setup could be different, but their banking business is strictly regulated through Banking Regulation Act. Means their business will function under the provisions of Banking Regulation Act, under the purview of Banking Regulation Act. I think you have understood this part very clearly. Organizational setup is different thing. You might register your organization as a partnership firm, and being partnership firm, if you are engaged in banking business, of course you will be governed through the Banking Regulation Act. It's another issue being a partnership firm, RBI is not going to provide a license for the banking business. That's another issue. But because RBI provides the banking license only to those who are registered under Companies Act or some established through Act. But legal setup is different. RBI has no say in that. And this Banking Regulation Act and this Banking Regulation Act is enforced by RBI, is implemented by RBI. And this is the feature which empowers the RBI to control all the banks. Because otherwise RBI has no say in any of the bank. So why RBI is the regulator of the banking system? Because to implement the because all the banks function under the provisions or purview of Banking Regulation Act, and it is the RBI who has been given power to implement the provisions of the Banking Regulation Act. So since RBI is empowered to implement the Banking Regulation Act, and that's why RBI becomes the regulator of the banking system. So it is clear now? Any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now I'm going to expand the, in case suppose there is no it is written in the Banking Regulation Act that all the provisions of Banking Regulation Act, it is the responsibility of the RBI to implement all the provisions of Banking Regulation. So who is the watchguard of the to implement the provisions of banking? It is the RBI. There should be someone which like government which should ensure the implementation of the provisions of that act. So since RBI has been given power to implement the Banking Regulation Act, that's why RBI becomes the bankers bank, that is boss of all the banking system. Now, as far as banks are concerned, so from the business point of view, I am just dividing the banks in two broad categories. One category of banking system is commercial banks. Commercial banks. And the second category is your social banks, social sector banks. There are various ways to represent the banking structure. In books, you might see there are various categories, there are various forms to represent the banking structure. But I'm looking the banks from the business point of view. In the terms of business, how we can structure the banking system. So whatever I teach, what I feel. So you might it might be different from the books. जो कुछ भी मैं पढ़ाता हूँ हो सकता है आपको किसी किताब वगैरह में ना मिले, क्योंकि जो मैं सोचता हूँ वही बोलता हूँ. तो माइट बी कि ये आपको बुक से मैच ना करे या बुक में ना. Now, so there are two broad categories of the banks. from the business point of view. One is the commercial banks and second is the social sector banks. नाम से ही clear है. The word commercial banks means their intention is to earn profit. ये profit motive. Their motive is to earn profit. Profit motive. Or नाम social sector banks, non-profit motive. One thing I would like to make it clear. Profit motive, non-profit. These are the inherent intention of the banks toward the function, their function. But it doesn't mean, for example, social sector banks, their intention is non-profit. So non-profit motive. It doesn't mean that social sector banks do not charge the rate of interest, because whatever money they pool, they collect, it is from the account holders. And they have to pay interest to the account holder. So obviously they will charge the interest from the borrowers, only then they will be able to serve the account holder, that is the depositors. So they will also charge the interest, and it's a unfortunate thing in India that there are lots of corruption involved in the social sector banks. That's why their their cost of fund is very high as compared to the regular commercial banks. The people who approach for funding through social sector banks, for some time, I'm just going to explain what are those social sector banks, but you will find the cost of funding in social sector banks are very much high as compared to the commercial bank. The reason being lots of corruption, mishandling, and late information. All the things are involved in the social sector banks. Though they are non-profit motive, but they are also supposed to charge the interest because they have to serve the account holders. Whatever money they pool has certain cost. For example, if you invite the money, if you mobilize the money from the account holders, so obviously you have to pay certain interest to the account holder against the saving account or FD. And to serve that account holder or depositor, you need to earn money. So that's why you also charge interest from the borrowers itself. And the difference between interest charged from the borrower and interest given to the depositor is the margin to the bank, is the profit to the bank, which is used by the bank for its operational expenses. I'm just saying, suppose this is a bank. So bank में पैसा कहाँ से है? It is the depositor who mobilize the fund, depositors, और इसी को आप बोलते हैं account holders, and then this money is invested, is provided to the borrowers in the form of financial assistance. Now, so there are two broad categories of the banking system. One is the commercial banks, second is the social sector. Now, commercial banks are also divided into two broad categories. One is the domestic banks. Domestic का मतलब क्या हो गया? Indian banks. And second is foreign banks. Yeah, external sector banks. All the foreign banks are commercial banks. None of the foreign bank is social sector banks in India. They never do the charity. Can you name any foreign banks? Sorry?
Yes, sir.
Sir, HSBC.
HSBC. Or anything else? Citibank?
Yes, sir, Citibank.
ABN AMRO? ABN AMRO.
Yes, sir. ABN AMRO Bank.
बहुत सारे you might go through the RBI site and you see you can see all the list. Now all the foreign sector bank, external sector bank, but since they are doing banking business in India, always remember is whatever is the category of bank, whether it is Indian bank or foreign bank or social sector banks, all the banking business is regulated through Banking Regulation Act. So they will come under the purview of Banking Regulation Act. Foreign bank, HSBC, Citibank, ABN AMRO, so their parent organization is in the just HSBC. Uh, the headquarter of HSBC is in Hong Kong. So HSBC India is there for their banking business in India. So, but since they are doing banking business in India, so they are governed through the provisions of Banking Regulation Act. I'm just yes, yes. Right. Now, so the domestic banks and the foreign sector means all the banks, their functioning will come under the purview of Banking Regulation Act. Foreign bank doesn't mean they will their parent organization is of course out of India, but their banking business is completely controlled through the provisions of Banking Regulation, and therefore their regulator is also RBI. Now, in domestic banks, again, you have two broad categories. One is the public sector banks, and second is private sector bank, private sector. Now, public sector banks, again, you have two broad categories. One is SBI, State Bank of India, and its associate. Is it visible or not? दिख रहा है ना? स्क्रीन दिख रही है आप लोगों को ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think right. State Bank of India and its associates. Can you name the SBI associate banks? जैसे State Bank of Patiala, State Bank of uh, there are lots of there are different associate. Second is Second is all the other nationalized bank. Like Punjab National PNB, Allahabad Bank, UCO, Bank of Baroda. Okay. So these are the nationalized banks. And private sector banks, mein, of course, you have a long list. ICICI Bank Limited, SDFC, IDBI, Axis Bank. So these are the private sector banks. So it is clear now. So in domestic banks, you have two broad categories. One is the public sector banks, second is the private sector banks. And public sector banks, again, you have two subcategory. One is the State Bank of India and its associates, and second is nationalized banks. And private sector banks, you have different banks. All these are the commercial banks. Remember it, all these are commercial banks. Means their intention is to earn profit. Their intention is to earn profit. And you have, so these are the commercial banks. Now come to social sector banks. Social sector banks. In social sector banks, we have a large structure of Kshetriya Gramin Bank, regional rural banks. इसकी हिंदी होती है क्षेत्रीय ग्रामीण बैंक. Regional rural banks. The functioning is same like commercial banks. You can go and open an account with the RRBs, regional rural banks, and the same kind of services they will also provide you. But they are listed under the social sector bank. They assume that they will promote all the social sector initiatives for the development of agriculture, rural sector, also marginalized class. It is just on paper. But as far as the cost of fund is concerned, the services are concerned, they are pathetic costs. Even commercial banks are much better these banks. All the government schemes might be implemented through these banks. And second is cooperative banks. इनको आप बोलते हैं सहकारी बैंक. Remember it, in cooperative banks, you never realize when you going for opening of account in cooperative banks, it is inbuilt form, that is membership form. So because the name suggests cooperative means everyone is contributing, members are contributing.